Okay, Rashna, good afternoon. So finally we'll get going, okay? So screen is okay, screen is visible, right?
Yes, it's visible.
Okay, so last time we had done till November, okay? November
November.
2020. So we'll move
Yeah.
back. So October, okay? Yeah. So let me start, okay? Left hand side, okay? Start from October. So public places cannot be occupied indefinitely. So SC on Shaheen Bagh protest. So I think this is no major famous judgment also Shaheen Bagh protest. No, public places cannot be occupied indefinitely. So I'll just read this. SC held that public places cannot be occupied indefinitely. Okay. So this is a quoting thing. Dissent and democracy can go hand in hand. Okay, it's telling it can go hand in hand, but protests must be carried out in designated areas. Okay, so this is the takeaway line of the judgment. Dissent and democracy can go hand in hand, but protest must be carried out in designated areas, said so and so judges. While delivering a judgment on the scope of right to protest. Okay, so this is directly hitting the Article 19 also things whether or not there can be any limitation to such a right. The court added that social media channels are often fraught with danger and they lead to highly polarizing environments. So they have come up with a view on social media also, no, which is a negative view that leads to highly polarizing environments also. Okay, this is one view on social media, which we can write in essay or even ethics. And then this is what was witnessed in Shaheen Bagh. Okay, so they're given example of Shaheen Bagh to social media. What started out as a protest caused inconvenience to commuters. Okay, okay, okay. So, because they were occupying public places, it caused inconvenience to commuters, said Supreme Court while holding in a batch of petitions pertaining to road blockade at Shaheen Bagh in Delhi by protesters who were opposing the CAA. The court also pulled up the administration and its inability to clear encroachments and obstructions, waiting on the judicial orders for doing so, adding that it was the laxity of administration that warranted intervention of the court. Okay, I think it's a famous judgment. We can always write in protest and such things, right?
And we have to remember that we do not have the right to protest. I was just solving one of the mock tests, so I thought it's a right, but I guess it is not a right.
I mean,
I will check it, I will send you.
right to peaceful protest. You mean to say in that sense it is a right, or
I think that we have the right to assemble peacefully, but if a question says, do we have the right to protest, then the answer will be no. We have the right to assemble peacefully.
what if the statement
I'll
is
check it and send
right to
you.
peaceful protest? What if that is the statement?
I don't know, the statement was right to protest, and that was not a fundamental right.
Okay, okay, fine.
I'll send the question once.
Okay, sure. We'll move on. So this was Shaheen Bagh judgment, and next comes up Domestic Violence Act. So again, this is also news because of the COVID and shadow pandemic. So the COVID Domestic Violence Act, wife entitled to claim right of residence which belongs to relatives of husbands also. So SC overrules its 2006 SR Batra judgment. So if you see, wife is entitled to claim right of residence which belongs to relatives of husbands also. So even she can claim that residence also. So if you see, wife is entitled to claim a right to residence in a shared household belonging to the relatives of husband. The SC held in an important judgment overruling its old judgment. Okay, old was this thing, SR Batra versus uh, this judgment, it has overruled. So if you read further, in the event shared household belongs to any relative of the husband with whom in a domestic relationship the woman has lived, the conditions mentioned in section 2 clauses are satisfied and the said house will become a shared household. So it is telling it becomes a shared household, and when wife also has a she can also have a claim over it, nothing much. So if you just see the thing here, the living of a woman, you just see the living of a woman in a household has to refer to living which has some permanency. Okay, mere fleeting or causal living at different places shall not make a shared household. So it's also telling, which is not a shared household. Also, the intention of the parties and the nature of living includes the nature of households have to be looked into to find out as to whether the parties intend to treat the premises as shared households or not. Okay, as noted above, the this act, okay, this Domestic Violence Act was her enacted to give a higher right in the favor of women. Okay, the Act 2005 has been enacted to provide for more effective protection of rights of the women who are victims of violence of any kind occurring within the family. The Act has to be interpreted in a manner to effectuate the very purpose and objective of the Act. Okay, so just one liner we can quote, progressive how women's rights are increasing in a patriarchal society. In that sense, we can quote this also, that woman wife is entitled to claim right of residence which belongs to relative to husband also. Right? Nothing much, and just try to revise the Domestic Violence Act again. So we'll move on. I think on October there are very less judgment. So this is the last one for October. So SC of India cannot be a place for the governments to walk in when they choose, ignoring the period of limitation. Okay. Not so significant, I guess, because SCA of India cannot be a place for the governments to walk in when they choose, ignoring the period of limitation. Okay, if you see, we read one judgment in the past. About SLP, right? It had filed after such a long time. It is the same thing, okay? The Supreme Court of India cannot be a place for the government to walk in when they choose, ignoring the period of limitation prescribed. The apex court bench, headed by so and so, while dismissing a SLP, okay, they were dismissing this SLP filed by uh, MP, with a delay of 663 days. Again, the same thing. They cannot
A
come
lot of
beyond.
delay.
Right. So this ends October. Okay. So we are still in 12/10. So we'll move on to uh, we'll move on to September. Yeah. So starting with the first one, serving judicial officers cannot club their previous experience as advocates to claim eligibility for the elevation of High Court judge. Okay, I mean it's going into nitty-gritties of who can be appointed as a high court judge. So it is just telling that serving judicial officers, they cannot club their previous experience as advocates to claim eligibility for elevation as high court judge. So we must try to revise the who can become a high court judge. That those criteria. I think that becomes important. If you see here, they see observed that serving judicial officers cannot invoke explanation of Article 217. So this article also becomes important. 217 of the Constitution to club with their judicial service the experience that they had at the bar. Okay, before joining judicial service. So they're trying to club both using this article and claiming that they are eligible to become a judge of High Court, which the Supreme Court is denying. They're saying you cannot do like this. The bench comprising Chief Justice so and so observed that such a benefit of clubbing can be allowed only to a person who has held a judicial office and later he has become an advocate. So I think those criteria for becoming a judge of High Court, okay, that we must revise.
They were clubbing even before joining the judicial service.
Correct. And
Okay.
they were using this article as to approach the Supreme Court. So we must also revise this article 217. So just a minute. 217 is appointments and conditions of the same thing. Okay, judge of High Court. So we should revise 217 and that High Court wala criteria. We'll move on. Prevention of Food Adulteration Act. Okay, so this is Act. No violation of labeling regulations if relevant information traceable from barcode. Okay, I think as we know, no, on every food product there will be a barcode, so that will help us to trace the commodity. So there's no violation of labeling regulations if relevant information is traceable from barcode. I think nothing much. So just quickly move on. The SC bench comprising so and so quashed the prosecution for alleged violation of Rule 32. So this is the rule of this act. Okay, this act after noting that the relevant information about the batch of the product was available on the barcode. So every when we scan the barcode, we'll come to know that this product was manufactured on which date, so that we can trace back the product in case of any issues. So rule 32, this is the rule they're explaining. The rule 32 mandates that every package of the food should carry a label giving out information about the manufacturer, batch of the product, description of the food, and its ingredient. If you remember, there was one question on this also, that a food product should contain so and so, and they had given one statement that it should also contain about some allergy, information about some
Yeah,
allergy,
yeah.
right? So,
That is
I mean, I am not sure, but so like this, we can broadly we can eliminate that statement. So it should contain about manufacturer, batch of the product, description of the food, and its ingredients. So there's nothing about allergy and this such thing. So this is rule 32. So for this, I think nothing much. Just revision of the same thing, and then this act maybe we can just see under which ministry or such things. So those basic details. We'll move on. So this is prevention of food adulteration rules. So a Bangalore club not liable to pay wealth tax holds Supreme Court. Oh, I think wealth tax was abolished. If you just see,
yeah. Long time back, yes.
so I think some cases propped up. So Bangalore Club is not liable to pay wealth tax. Supreme Court said. So SC held that Bangalore Club, one of the oldest clubs in Bangalore, is not liable to pay wealth tax under the Wealth Tax Act. The bench comprising so and so set aside the Karnataka High Court judgment. So Karnataka High Court, had ordered to pay, which had held otherwise. So Bangalore Club is an association of persons and not a creation by a person who is otherwise accessible of one among a large number of associations or persons without defining the shares of its members so as to escape the tax liability. For all these reasons, it is clear that section 221 AA of Wealth Tax Act does not get attracted to the facts of the present case. I think we must revise wealth tax. I'm not sure whether no, reading this,
In 2015,
it was abolished, but
it was removed.
was it removed for everyone, or is there some conditions? Because some dubious. If you see, they're telling something here. It is applicable to so and so to escape tax liability. Something they're telling. Not sure. So let us
I
start.
think it was an old case, so maybe they are referring to it.
Mm-hmm. Okay, okay. So there's a Wealth Tax Act also. Okay, it was there, but if you see now this line, they're never telling that wealth tax is abolished, so you cannot. It's telling that this club is not liable to pay wealth tax. So uh, maybe I may be wrong, but there might be certain sections of group or thing which still wealth tax is applicable. Okay, I'm not sure. Let us check this up. Okay, so
I think
maybe.
it was discontinued from 2016.
Okay, okay. Okay, let's revise that wealth tax thing again. Okay. Let's move on. No inherent right to compassionate appointment. SC rate rates. I think if you recall, we had remember one judgment where one wife was claiming that her husband had gone missing for 20 years, and then you remember, right? There was a judgment calling the same name. Okay, so there's no inherent right to compassionate appointment. Reiterate Supreme Court. There cannot be any inherent right to compassionate appointment. The SC reiterated its in a judgment. The three-judge bench headed by so and so observed that compassionate appointment has to be in terms of the applicable policy as existing on the date of demise. That's what, no? It should be within that timeline also, when he passed away, all those things, unless a subsequent policy is made applicable retrospectively. I think it's the same thing. Okay, nothing much. We can move on. We can use these words, right to compassionate employment, all those things. So SC grants 10-year period for telecom companies to clear AGR dues. First 10% to be paid by March 2020. So this AGR no was in news, adjusted gross revenue. So it has granted 10-year period for them to clear their dues. Okay, so nothing much here, but what we must revise, I think, is that AGR issue. We must go back and maybe in September or month, look up the AGR issue, because I think AGR is funded from the, I mean, this AGR, whatever they're giving fees, it will go to the Universal Service Obligation Fund, which is funding many important projects like BharatNet, all those projects. Okay, let's revise that. AGR related issues from this thing. Nothing much here. We'll just move on. So yeah, SC urges center and states to provide monetary assistance, rations to sex workers without insisting on identity proof. Yeah, see, this is one of the major hurdles in a system where ID proof is called for, but many people like migrants or many vulnerable sections might not possess identity proof. So it is telling that centers and states to provide monetary assistance and ration to sex workers without insisting on identity proof. So if you see, SC directed center and state governments to provide food and financial aid, okay, food and financial aid to sex workers, in a plea highlighting the distress faced by them on account of ongoing pandemic. Okay, the bench, so and so urged the center and states to urgently consider providing them relief. Okay, providing them relief in the form of dry rations, monetary assistance, as well as masks, soaps, and sanitizers, without insisting on the proof of identity. So, on a humanitarian gesture, please provide them all such things. And if you remember, in ethics paper, there was a question in 2020, ethical caregiving state. They had asked, okay, what an ethical caregiving state, something like that in this year's paper. So
Huh,
we can
okay.
quote such things that ethical caregiving
Eth-
state. Sorry.
ethics of care, no feminist ethics.
No, no, no. Ethical caregiving state, something like that. Okay.
Okay, okay. Yeah.
What you're telling ethics of care is of Carol Gilligan. That's a different thing. But they had asked, what is the duty of ethical caregiving state? Okay, 2020 question. Okay, just look up the question. So, I mean, what I was telling is in such, we can quote such instances that if a state, voluntarily comes up and assists people without seeking for all such, details, that can also be called as an ethical caregiving state. Okay. And one example which I could connect this, we can write in that ethical caregiving state thing. Okay, so we'll move on. So we have completed September also. So we have time left. So we'll move on to August. Okay, so left side focus. So SC directs. Oh, sorry. Uh, Okay. So SC directs center to ensure proper care for senior citizens living alone amidst COVID-19. Same thing, right? The state has to take care of its vulnerable people. This is also
Right.
one aspect.
Vulnerable.
Hmm. So SC directed
Right.
central government to take appropriate steps to ensure senior citizens who are living alone. Okay, pandemic now called for people living alone, and they're most vulnerable. Senior citizens, especially living alone amidst the COVID pandemic, and giving proper care. So the bench so and so recognized the obligation of state. I think I'm not sure. No, based on these things only, question might have been framed. So recognizing the obligation of the, the lines was like this only. Okay, if you see the question, what is the obligation of ethical care in something like that? Okay, obligation of the government in taking care and protecting the elderly who live alone by securing availability of essential goods and services to them. Okay. So this is again one component. So here they talked about sex workers. Here they're talking about senior citizens, vulnerable. Okay, we'll move on. So next, if you see, how can you use children for this? Okay, SC refuses pre-arrest bail to Rehana Fatima in POXO case over video showing her children over video showing her children painting on her semi-nude body. Okay, I think she's misusing some children. Okay, so if you see, SC refused anticipatory bail to controversial. So she's an activist. Okay, this lady, she's an activist who was booked over a video showing her children, showing. Okay, a video is showing her children painting on her body. Okay, so you cannot use children like that. Is what SE is trying to tell, I think. Okay, how can you? If you see this line, how can you use children for this? What kind of culture will the children perceive? Okay, so nothing much here. So how, children have to be used in that sense. Okay, so maybe child trafficking, all those things. No, we can always use in any of the answers. And if you see in a POXO, it has come in POXO case. Okay, so just try to revise POXO yet again. So we'll move on. This is a judgment which I always keep telling. Right to property is a constitutional as well as human right. So this has come up in August. Okay, it reiterates SC order. See, the right to property is still a constitutional right and a human right. Okay, this has the potential to come up in prelims as a statement. Okay, is still a constitutional right and a human right. Reiterates the Supreme Court while allowing an appeal to be filed by this Hari Krishna Mandir Trust in a matter of a land dispute between with the Pune Municipal Corporation. The bench comprising Justice Indu Malhotra and Indira Banerjee observed that right to property includes any proprietary hereditary interest in the right of management of a religion endowment as well as anything acquired by inheritance. Okay, so if you see now, the making further observation, the right to property includes any proprietary hereditary interest in the right of management of a religious endowment as well as anything acquired by inheritance. So, this judgment is important. Right to property is a constitutional as well as human rights. So we'll move forward. So again, nothing much here. Let us try to revise the right to property thing once again. But the latest dimension is this. Okay. Oh, you were not there. Hello. Okay.
I lost my connection. Huh? We were doing a right to property, no? I just heard that it is a constitutional as well as a human right.
Okay. So I had read this line. Okay. Right to property includes any proprietary hereditary interest in the right of management of a religion endowment as well as anything acquired by inheritance. Okay. Apart from making a broader observation about it being a constitutional as well as human right, it is also told that it includes any proprietary hereditary interest in the right of management of any endowment as well as anything acquired by inheritance. Okay, it is telling this also includes that. So we'll move on.
Okay.
So if you see next one, this is the contempt judgment of Prashant Bhushan. So SC holds Prashant Bhushan guilty of contempt for tweets against the judiciary. Okay, so nothing new here. We know that he was booked for contempt. So Supreme Court held Advocate Prashant Bhushan guilty of contempt of court in a suo moto contempt case. If you see now, they can take up suo moto. This also we must remember that SC can take up contempt plea on suo moto basis against him over two of his tweets about Chief Justice of India and the Supreme Court. A bench comprising Justice Arun Mishra, so and so, observed that Bhushan has committed serious contempt of court. So, can you tell the article of contempt of court?
Article 129.
Yes, Article 129. Okay. So, the bench sentenced him to deposit Rizwan with the SC registry, failing which he should undergo imprisonment for 3 months. Okay, if he doesn't do that, he'll be imprisoned for 3 months and will be debarred from practicing in Supreme Court for 3 years. Oh, okay, this was the thing, and he paid a fine on the next day itself. Okay. So, this is about this thing. For I think we must revise
So we have to revise
uh, the contempt
civil
powers
and
of
criminal contempt and
yes,
conditions.
yes, and Supreme Court's power of contempt also we must revise. Okay, so we'll move on. Contempt becomes important, and so about all those things. So humane and appropriate. So SE upholds MP High Court order relaxing penalty imposed on judicial employees uh, for misconduct of having more than two children. Okay, so what is it trying to say? So it is humane and appropriate. So it is telling that SC is upholding the Madhya Pradesh High Court order relaxing penalty imposed on judicial employees. Okay, for misconduct of having more than two children. So this no, they had imposed a penalty if they are having more than two children. They had no imposed some penalty, but MP High Court had relaxed this, and Supreme Court is telling this is humane and appropriate. So if you see, SC upheld a Madhya Pradesh High Court order which relaxed the penalty imposed on several judicial employees in district court establishment for having more than two children. So that relaxed the penalty and it has upheld. So as per clause 4 of their civil service conduct rules, a government servant having more than two children shall be deemed to be misconduct. Oh, so if you're having more than two children, it means it is misconduct in itself. Okay, so that is what this rule is trying to tell. But I think MP rules provide for the above, provided that above rules which were applicable to MP state government employees shall apply subject to modifications and variations and exceptions by the High Court. Okay, so I think nothing much here. Just that humane and appropriate SE upholds the High Court order relaxing penalty. So this penalty that government servant having more than two children shall be deemed to be misconduct. So this I think they're trying to relax. That's it. I think nothing much here. We'll move on. If you see, is subclassification permissible within SC/ST reservation? So SC 5 judge bench refers matter to a larger bench, says EV Chinnaya decision needs reconsideration. I think this is still pending. Um, the Chinnaya case, they want to reconsider this, and they're also questioning that is subclassification permissible within SC/ST reservation. Okay, you're there now. Oh, sorry. Some issue is it? I saw. I just saw now. Okay. Uh, where were where were you when you left? On in which judgment?
So that
I'm not able to get your voice. Okay, if there's any issue now, I think we can stop. Okay, or what?
I was there. Hello. Am I audible now?
Ha, yeah, you're audible now, but when you spoke now recently, I was not able to
I
hear
was
you.
there. I was able to listen to you. Uh,
Okay, okay.
I heard that whole judgment, SC subclassification, SC.
Okay, okay. So this you heard, right? Yeah. So I mean, it is just telling that is subclassification permissible within this? It is questioning itself, and it has referred the matter to a larger bench, and it is also trying to relook the older judgment. So this is just something a transition news. Okay, so just a thing to be aware. That's it. Nothing relevant will come up in the exam because they're still reviewing this thing. Okay, so I'll just read the quoted one. In a federal structure, the state government cannot be denied a power to make laws to give preferential treatment to subcategories within the reservation list. So it is telling, upholding the same that in a federal structure, state government can do if it wants to, right? So nothing much. It's just new in judgment which is in transition. Okay, we'll move on. Hmm. So we'll end here. I think August is ending. So SC orders removal of 48,000 slum dwellings around Delhi rail tracks in 3 months. Okay, stops courts from granting stay. I think this is a bigger issue of no slum rehabilitation. That thing. So SC has ordered the removal of nearly 48,000 slum dwellings around 140-kilometer length of railway tracks in New Delhi within 3 months, and has further directed that no court shall grant any stay on the removal of slums. I think this has the potential to come up in the slum topic of urbanization GS1. Okay, a bench headed by said in case any interim order is granted with respect to encroachments which have been made along the railway tracks, that shall not be effective. Okay. The order was passed in the MC Mehta case. Oh, this famous case, MC Mehta. Okay. MC Mehta case in which Apex Court had been passing a slew of directions from time to time since 1985 in issues related to pollution in and around Delhi. So this MC Mehta, na, very famous case. So in its right to pollution or something, it told that it is right to it's part of right to life or something. Huh. Okay, I
I
think
think it was the first case which brought up this pollution and environment issue.
right,
Right.
right, right. So from that time, no, it is trying to give a slow of direction, and it is also considering this slum also as contributing to an issue of pollution. But I believe the slum issue is a very big issue. Okay, try to revise it from GS1 that perspective, broader issue, and maybe use this as an example of how it is trying to address things. Maybe another dimension might be pollution issue in Delhi, air pollution issue in Delhi, or other pollution, and it is trying to address that also, that perspective. Okay. So larger issue of slums need to be revised from GS1 perspective, and then this air pollution issue, and this is a recent judgment on this. Okay, so we've done till August. So today we have completed um, yeah, October. Uh,
September, October.
huh. Okay, so 3 months we've done quickly. So all were short judgments. Okay, so we'll end it here. Okay, I've just shared a file also to you of that this thing, okay, PDFs of judgment theme wise. So keep
MK Yadav, yes.
MK Adil. So
I
keep it as a reference on any themes which we come across. No, try to revise those themes again. Okay, fine. So we'll end for today, right?
okay.
Okay. Yeah. Bye.